Moment.
Trial Tuesday once again, in the aftermath of an accident can certainly be disorienting, confusing, even painful. Super Smash Brother attorney David Ayler joins us right now with some important things to take care in case you get into a wreck. Counselor, thanks so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. So tell me, you got a case recently where a gentleman was involved in a wreck, went in an ambulance, didn't follow up, and then about a month later really started experiencing some of the pain associated with that accident.
Yeah, unfortunately, this happens often, particularly when you have injuries related to your back and neck. What'll happen oftentimes is someone will maybe take that initial trip in an ambulance. Perhaps they'll even go down to the hospital in their own vehicle, get checked out. Seems like they're okay, maybe even an X-ray or two, and then seem fine. But then sometime thereafter, a few days, even a couple of weeks, they'll start to experience pain and difficulties, and sometimes some serious injuries, maybe a tear, that sort of thing that comes. And usually they're kind of confused at that point as to what they can do. The accident wasn't their fault, yet they haven't gotten continuous treatment. So it's a situation that happens a lot of times with people. Also, you hear about when people will get in an accident, say, you know what, I'm fine, I've got to get to work, I've got dinner plans, just write out the tickets.
And then your head starts hurting.
Yeah, exactly. Migraines, that sort of thing. So you have to be careful, and it's very important to make sure before you do any kind of settlements with the insurance company on your own that this type of thing doesn't occur.
Is there some kind of formal statute of limitations on injuries and kind of post effects from an accident?
Well, obviously, the sooner that you get seen for any type of injury, the better in the eyes of sort of looking at it from a litigation standpoint. However, what usually is a concern is a lot of times people want their car fixed. Maybe they'll get the insurance company will offer them a little bit for pain and suffering, like, hey, we're sorry about you having to miss work or getting your car. Yeah. Here's X amount for the car and $1,000. Well, they take that money, they spend that money, they cash the check. At that point, there's no more recovery. And the insurance company is going to come back very quickly to try to settle with you. So in like the situation I was just describing, if you were hurting later, your back was hurting, your migraines, whatever it may be, if you've already settled with the insurance company, there's not going to be any way to collect.
Wow. Let's say you do go to the hospital and kind of, you get that medical report, or at least you file a police report. Can that stand up in court or stand up to an insurance company that, yes, this did indeed happen, and yes, I have sustained injuries from that?
Well, you have to have that police report. You have to show that the contributing factor was the other driver or drivers of the other vehicle, because then that's the point that you're going to have the liability against the driver and their insurance company. So that's definitely the first thing that you're going to use in your favor to try to assist with, getting those medical treatments paid for. Because you have to think about it, sometimes when people start to have these treatments, let's say they got to go to rehab, they're going to start missing work. That work may be an hourly type of employment where they're not going to be paid for it. So then it really sort of doubly impacts you.
So really the first couple of things that you need to do after an accident is make sure you're okay, make sure the other driver's okay, call the police and get that police report, of course, get any medical attention needs, but then call your lawyer, because really this can be the difference between a large settlement and a very small settlement.
Or maybe no settlement. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten calls, I'm sure a lot of lawyers out there have, where somebody's saying, hey, I really need some help. I just found out there's a tear in my shoulder. It came from an accident. The accident wasn't my fault. You start to look into it. You realize they cashed a check they received from the insurance company within days of the actual accident, and it's too late at that point.
So there's really no extenuating circumstances, even if you have some kind of injury that comes up later on in life?
At the point that you cash that settlement check, that's when the case is over in regards to the insurance liability and payment for you.
So how long should you wait before you go, try and make that claim?
Well, first thing you need to do is make sure that you're medically seen and okay. At that point, if you feel like that there's potential of any type of injury, you need to go seek local counsel. Let them help you along through the process. Because remember, the insurance company works for the insurance company, not for you.
Well, smart advice right there. Attorney David Ayler, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Do appreciate it. Much more Lowcountry Live coming up after the break.
Trial Tuesday, brought to you by attorney David Ayler.